Hey, it's Mitch, Native Survival. Tonight we're going to be repairing and modifying some kit. Don't go away. Okay, so this is my Vietnam era Alice pack. I just want to show you guys a quick modification here. Give you an example of what I'm talking about. This is my compass pouch. And I made a adapter here so I could attach it to my strap. So that way I don't have to keep my compass around my neck if I don't want. And I also don't have to keep it in my rucksack and have to dig through it to get it out. So this way I can just pop it off, it's right in front, I'm good to go. So I'll show you guys a close-up of how this looks. Okay, so what I did was, I used one of the military attachment clips. And I just took a piece of leather and basically copied the patch here on the back of my pouch. Has a little channel in the middle for the clip. I did the exact same thing right here. So, you know, a little square piece of leather. I just sewed it right on there. I think I used fishing line this time. And it just looks just like that. Slips right in. Clips right back in. So, that's a quick little mod, and I can take my pouch off, keep it on, whatever I want to do on the fly. No big deal. Now up here, I have a Max Edition 10x4 pouch that I lashed to the Alice pack frame. Okay, so what that allows me to do is make this a permanent part of kit that's attached to my frame, and obviously I can actually undo it if I want. But, you know, this thing's not going anywhere. It's completely sturdy on here. And this allows me to get to my Guide Designs stainless steel canteen without having to, again, go through my rucksack or try to carry it somewhere, you know, in my pocket or whatever the case is. This way I can actually reach this over my shoulder, my right shoulder, while my pack is on. So when I'm marching, I can just reach right in and just keep the top open usually, like halfway. I can just reach right in and just pull my canteen right out, and when I'm done with it, just put it right back in. So it's just kind of like a canteen holder, pretty much. So just a couple quick mods, and I'm going to show you guys a few more. Okay, so here's a couple quick gear mods I made. This is a quick little pouch. I just took a piece of leather, a strip, rectangle, folded it in half, and sewed down both sides. Couldn't be simpler. I just have some plantain root in here, which we all know has tons of medical attributes. Has a lot of drawing applications, which is why I made it for here, because it's powderized. This is a very common modification to a slingshot wrist rocket. We've all seen this. Take a medium whisker biscuit, right-handed, and you zip tie into your slingshot. And then you epoxy the whisker biscuit into its housing. That way it doesn't flip out when the arrow goes through from the fletchings. And you can also shoot rocks with it still. Very common mod. Alright, here's a pouch I made. I'll zoom out a little bit. This pouch I made, it's got a bunch of ammo and flint knapping kit, a bunch of flakes and arrowheads that are 3/4 of the way done. So I can still kind of customize the size of the arrowhead to the shaft I'm using and what game I want to go at. But basically it's just a leather pouch, and I put some paracord through it. Just made a drawstring. Pretty simple stuff. I'll probably have a pouch of it on at some point. Really easy to make. My buddy Silver Fox is the one that got me into making these. Made an awesome video on it. Sean Mulhall is his channel, Silver Fox. He's a good guy. Okay, this is one of my wool blankets. This is the thickest one I own. It's 5/8 thick. And right here is a zipper that we're going to be sewing on tonight. I'll show you guys a close-up. Okay, so here's the edge of my wool blanket. So I just picked up an extra zipper, sleeping bag zipper at my local surplus store. Only cost me a couple bucks. And it's actually the perfect length for the whole wool blanket on one side. So we decided to not do this by hand, although we could. It would have just taken a bunch of time. It's really not a big deal. If it has any problems in the field, I'll obviously repair it by hand. Basically, it's super simple to do. You just take these little pins to make it easy. You don't have to do this. You can do it on the fly, but you line it up to where you want it. And I just want the cloth from the zipper to be like, say, half and half. Half of it underneath to be attached, and enough gap so when I move the zipper head by, it doesn't touch the blanket. So I want it spaced. See that space right there? And then you just pin it right in the spot where you want it. Put it through twice, just like that. Okay. So my wife is gonna throw this on her sewing machine and just buzz right down this thing. And it's gonna be real tight, and it's gonna be like awesome, really, really nice quality. Much better than I could do with my hand. You know, my hand would work, but the machine, it just puts stitches so close together. You know, for me to put that many stitches, I would literally be here for hours. I mean, hours and hours. So I'm just gonna get this done. So I figured to show you guys how this works. So it's real simple, and this is a pretty cool mod to my wool blanket, because a few days ago, actually probably last week now, it got down to low 30s, and it really kind of came as a little surprise. So I want to make sure that my kit is more flexible. So I'm going to add the zipper to the edge of my wool blanket, and I can keep it unzipped all the time and use it like a normal wool blanket all day. And if I want to use it as a sleeping bag, then I can zip it together. And I'm still going to use my Gore-Tex bivy from my military sleep system, which I like to use a lot too. Usually when it's 0 degrees or lower, I usually use my military sleep system. It has a Gore-Tex bivy on the outside, and I actually use the extreme cold. It's kind of like their Arctic bag, the Army's Arctic bag on the inside, instead of the 2-bag standard sleep system. And it's kind of like a mummy bag, and it's rated for like -30, and it's definitely it definitely functions at -30. I mean, I've had it at 0 degrees, and I was in my underwear sweating in that bag practically. I mean, I was breathing and my nose hairs were freezing, but I was plenty warm. So the problem is that kit weighs like 13 pounds, and I really like a wool blanket better than a sleeping bag because it's way more flexible. Just like my first vid was wool tarp. I actually used this wool blanket, this exact one, and set it up like a tarp and just poured water down, and it just beat it up and ran right off. Try that with your sleeping bag. Good luck. So I'm trying to modify my kit to be lighter. I'm also trying to modify my kit to be more flexible. So we're going to be sewing the zipper on the side so we can use it in conjunction with the Gore-Tex bivy, which is pretty light compared to the whole bag. And that way I'll have a waterproof shell with this. And then I can actually choose. If I put the wool blanket on the outside of the waterproof shell, it will protect my Gore-Tex shell from getting ember damage. So when embers, because I sleep right next to the fire, I mean like 1.5 feet from my fire. When it's 0 degrees, I mean my fire is like right here. I'm sleeping right here. And there's no rocks, nothing. I mean blazing fire because it's so cold. And embers just jump right off into your kit and just put holes right into your Gore-Tex bag. And that's a real shame for such a nice piece of kit, because it obviously is no longer waterproof, and that's a serious problem. So what you can do is you can fold your blanket over and put it over your bivy bag. So you put your blanket on the outside of your bivy bag, and you sleep on the inside of your bivy bag. So it's like a 2-piece system, and that way the blanket doesn't allow embers to burn through the blanket, the wool, because it is resistant to flame and to embers, to get to your bivy bag, which would be on the inside. Now, when I'm going to be, say, laying in my hammock and I'm near my fire, but there's no chance, you know, or very incredibly slim that an ember is going to land on me, and I just want to be a little bit warmer, you know, because it's like fall. It's not freezing out, like pretty much right now, you know, when it's like 40s. I'm going to roll with this, and I can put my bivy on the outside or not use it at all. I can still lay in my hammock, and instead of just, you know, trying to fold my hammock and get comfortable, fold my blanket inside my hammock and try to get comfortable and not have a leg stick out and all that stuff, this way I can actually zip it up and make a nice, like, you know, kind of sleeping bag out of it and lay that inside my hammock. And that will help retain my radiation from my body, you know, way more effective than just wrapping my bag around me and trying to tuck it in a certain way while laying in my hammock. You know, if it's all closed in, you know, zippered shut, it's going to be a lot more effective. So I think this is really going to be a nice modification, and I'm looking forward to trying it out this weekend. So pretty much that's it. You just take a wool blanket and you pin your zipper to it before you actually stitch it. And what you do is you just take the pin out and stitch along the seam where you want it to be, and you keep taking the pins out, and they just hold it in place for you while you're working on it. Alright, so I'll show you the next step when we get there. Okay, so this stage of my blanket modification is finished. So now it has a zipper going down the side. And I'm going to just pick up another zipper to put it down the bottom. So I have a zipper on the bottom and a zipper on the side. But it's not cold enough for that yet. I'm not really worried about it. So I'm going to be trying this out this weekend. So I'm pretty pumped. I think it's going to greatly improve its ability to keep out drafts, you know, because I'm always trying to, you know, tuck this way and that way and trying to get it a certain way, you know, under my ankles and everything else, and you know, just trying to stop the cold air from getting in. You know, what better way to do that than zip it together. Well, this has been Mitch, Native Survival. I appreciate your views, your comments, and your support. See you guys in the next one. Take care.